to have to run and vote here in a moment, so we're going to jump right into this. Tell our viewers and listeners what this amendment means for the men and women in uniform that you were able to get into the NDAA.
Well, there was this big threat, Tony, that they would basically discharge with a dishonorable discharge or an other than honorable discharge members who refused the vaccine. Their point, of course, is that it's a failure to obey a direct or verbal order. But the truth of the matter is we don't have longitudinal data. The data we have right now looks pretty good, but the longitudinal data is just not there. So if a soldier chooses not to get that, they were going to give them a dishonorable discharge. So my amendment.
Hey, Mark, if I can stop you for just a moment, explain a little bit about what that means to get a dishonorable discharge.
Well, it devastates the life of a soldier. If you have a dishonorable discharge, you can't buy a gun. You can't basically employment everywhere you go. They ask, did you serve in the military? Yes. What was your discharge? Well, it was dishonorable. Well, no one hires people like that. I mean, it would devastate the life of any soldier. And we're talking about people, 18 years of service, multiple tours of duty. Great, right? These are folks that are doing outstanding work for the country, and we're talking about dishonorably discharging them.
Just because they would not get the COVID shot.
Exactly. And the president, I passed the amendment unanimously in the House Armed Services Committee meeting. 100% of the Democrats
side effects, or that it just.
But the president wanted it stripped off. So 100% of the House Democrats voted for my amendment, meaning, protecting these folks, and the president wanted it stripped off. So it just tells you where Joe Biden was headed with all this.
That's amazing. And most people don't really understand what a dishonorable discharge means. It doesn't mean, it's not like you just get fired from a job. This follows you all of your life. And it really makes you a second-class citizen. And as you pointed out, these are men and women who have served honorably, put their lives on the line. Many of them have suffered the consequences of multiple combat tours, and we're going to dishonorably discharge them because they won't submit to this shot. Amazing.
That's exactly what the president wanted to do.
Well, thank you for standing up for them and leading the effort and not giving up. And this is what I think made the NDAA effort this time successful. And I've been part of a lot of these battles over the last 20 years, and oftentimes it's kind of you shoot and scoot. You fire a shot and then you move on to the next battle, but you guys stuck with this. Kind of everybody leaned in on this, and we got a positive outcome. Still some issues with the NDAA. I'm not going to gloss over everything, but by and large, a good outcome.
Yeah, the trick with this is I think a lot of people didn't understand that when we passed it the first time on the floor of the House, that was to get it to conference committee. The floor of the House is the most liberal part of the process for making a bill. And to fix these kinds of bills, we have to get them into conference committee. So a lot of Republicans voted to move it to conference committee, which confused some people. But that was so that we could strip red flag laws, drafting our daughters, and, of course, get amendments like mine on permanently.
One more question for you, Congressman Mark Green. Last night, the Senate voted to overturn President Biden's shot or test mandate for businesses, and we were just talking with Senator Kramer a few moments ago. That comes over to the House now, this Congressional Review Act. I know 212 Republicans have already signed on to it, but you got to get to 218 for a discharge petition to force a vote on the House floor. Do you think this has a chance in the House?
I would give it a 50-50 shot. I mean, there are Democrats who said they support it. I haven't done a whip count on it. Will we get 6 more? It's hard to say, but I think there's at least a 50-50 shot.
Well, we'll be watching that very closely. I think it's important to give the American people a voice in this, and they do that through their elected representatives.
Yes, sir. Exactly.